Well, welcome everyone. My name is Jon Brenneman, and thank you for joining us for our first Military Women's Memorial trip. I am joined today by Gina Canseco, who's a business development manager with Colette. In a few minutes, I'm going to turn it over to Gina. She's going to talk a little bit about Colette, and then we're going to take a deep dive into this tour. And Gina's going to go through kind of a day by day what you can expect on every day of this tour. We're also joined by Military Women's Memorial President Phyllis Wilson. Phyllis is going to share a little with us a little bit later on as well. A couple of things. As I mentioned, we are recording this webinar, so we will email everyone a link to this webinar so you can view it again. If you would like, you can also share it with friends and family. Everyone's invited on this. So if you're a member of Military Women's Memorial and you have friends or family that would like to come on this trip, absolutely bring them along. And so you will get that email tonight. Anyway, before we get started, just wanted to talk a little bit about us and what we do. The first thing we always talk about is our concierge level of service. We are our reputation is built on the level of service we provide. In fact, as I say often in these webinars, we are and we continue to be the only travel agency in the country that does travel on a satisfaction guaranteed basis. So if you have an issue, a concern, a problem, either before you travel or during you travel, you give us a call. Almost all of those issues are handled by me personally, and then I will reach out to a friend of mine in the industry like Gina, and we will get that matter resolved to your satisfaction. Even though if you've ever had a problem before in the travel industry, the industry normal or the industry norm is 6 to 8 weeks for any type of problem resolution. Gina, myself, and all of our other partners are committed to get you an answer and a resolution within 48 hours. We do guarantee the lowest price, and in fact, in addition to the guaranteed lowest price, we do have a amenity program. These are exclusive Military Women's Memorial amenities that are in addition to the lowest price. Colette does participate in this. So you can select any Colette tour, any departure date, and you will receive an additional $50 to $100 per person discount off the lowest price. So with cruise lines, it's typically onboard credit. With tour companies, it's typically an additional an additional discount is what these amenities are. There are some instances where they're a little different. Maybe a free one night pre, maybe an upgrade of your accommodations or something like that. But we always like to have a free amenity in recognition of your past and continued service. And then what we're going to talk about today is the opportunity to travel as a group. So you have the added benefit of the camaraderie of traveling on a trip like we're going to talk about today, where we have actually held the entire bus. So everyone on the bus will be either a member of Military Women's Memorial or a friend or guest of a member. So we'll actually have our own Colette bus. A couple of things real quick. If you jump to the next slide for me, Gina. We do have a website that we have designed exclusively for this tour. When we send everybody the video this evening, or a link to this video this evening, we will include the URL for this page. So you can see we have a number of different tabs. You can see the pricing information, day-to-day itinerary, the highlights, the terms and conditions. And then we ask when you're ready to book, if you complete that book now form, you'll see a little button in the upper left corner. It's also one of the tabs. Basically, this is just providing us your names, dates of birth, email, phone, mailing address, and then Lisa, who's actually my sister, Lisa Brenneman, who is the rep that handles this account, will give you a call to get your credit card and answer any questions you might have. So that will be in the email as well. So I think that's the last of my slides, is it not, Gina?
It is.
Yeah, I thought so. I didn't think I had anything else. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Gina. Gina's going to talk, as I mentioned, a little bit about Colette. And then she's going to take a deep dive into this tour. If you have any questions at the end, when we're done with the presentation, we will have a Q&A where we'll answer any questions you might have. So if you take your cursor or your mouse to the bottom of the screen, you should see a couple of little conversation bubbles. It says Q&A underneath that. Go ahead and just click on that and type in your question. I will actually be answering some of the questions during the presentation. If it's something I think everybody will be interested in, I will bring that question up again during the Q&A. So without any further ado, Gina, tell us more about Colette and about the islands of New England.
Thank you so much for having me, John. I just want to start off in saying how much we appreciate your partnership and everything that John had mentioned about Brenco and what they do is absolutely accurate. We know that they take great care of the travelers and have run these signature groups for years. And this partnership we're really excited to have this. And thank you so much for choosing Colette. Phyllis as well. And I'm excited to give you a deep dive into what exciting things this tour includes. But before we do that, I just want to tell you a little bit about Colette and who you are going to be traveling with. So if you've never traveled with us, our number one goal is to make it very easy on you from start to finish. When it comes to planning a trip, we know that experience matters. So we've been in the industry for 107 years now, and we've really perfected the art of creating perfect, unforgettable journeys for you. Our team of travel experts curate these itineraries with you all in mind, and we are going to have 4-star accommodations all along the way, 5-star premium experience. And we do have a tour manager that is with you every step of the way, which is great because I always kind of like to think of them as a personal concierge because they are really there to not just provide you with the IQ of the places that you're visiting, but also, that camaraderie and give you things to do and what to do in your free time and find those hidden gems. And we're going to include all the must-sees on the itinerary, but we want you to be able to make the trip what you want it to be as well. So we do give a great balance of free time as well, where you'll have comfortable accommodations and really showcase the best of the islands of New England that we're going to see. One great thing of how we make it easy on you is when you see that we are moving from hotel to hotel, you're not going to have to worry about handling that 50-pound bag. We will take your bag. You'll just set it right outside your hotel room door, come get it for you in the morning, and then we will take it to your next hotel, and it'll be at your room when you arrive. So that's just another way that we make it easy on you. We will also have some expert local guides in addition to your tour manager that's with you every step of the way. But we like to have the expert local guides because they are, from the destination. They're the ones that can really showcase the culture and history of the places that you're visiting. And we do offer, if you purchase your airfare with us, which I'll talk a little bit about that at the end as well. If you purchase your airfare with us, we do offer a private chauffeur sedan service where if you are within 50-mile radius of over 90 airport gateways, we will pick you up from your home, take you to the airport, and then pick you up at the end and take you home. So just another way that we like to make it smooth for you from start to finish. And once you travel with us once, you become a member of the Colette Passport Club. So basically, the more you travel with us and the bigger the trip, the bigger the reward. So we want to provide you with benefits each time you travel with us to thank you for your loyalty. And that doesn't matter if you've been on a Colette trip, that's not a signature group, or like Phyllis had mentioned, she had been on a Colette trip last year, and so that she would still be qualified for that. So if we happen to do another signature group in a year or so, then you would be qualified for that as well. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the itinerary itself, where we are going to explore New England's majestic seaside resorts. We're going to start in Rhode Island, and then we are going to move over to Cape Cod, where we're going to explore some local charms, walk on the cobblestone streets here, kind of feel like you're stepping back in time, and feel like you're living life like a New Englander here. This is a really, really great time to go. You're going to have great temperatures, upper 60s. Mornings can be a little bit chillier, lower 50s, and bring a jacket for the evening, especially because we will be at a seaside resort. So you'll want to bring a jacket, sit sit and watch the sunset at the end of the day, as it does get a little bit cooler in the evening. But great time to visit because everybody is back in school. We don't have a ton of crowds here. So we're really going to give you time to just sit back, relax, and enjoy this 8-day journey that includes 10 meals along the way. So this trip is very, very nicely paced, as you see. So we've got just 2 hotel stays on this, starting in Providence, Rhode Island, for your first 3 nights, and then we are going to end in Cape Cod, and we will do some touring along the way. So just to make sure we set the right expectation for you, we do measure our activity level on a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being the most active. This is going to be a level 2, so this is going to be a very, very balanced approach. We say walking, 2 to 3 miles over the course of a day is not going to be an issue for you. We do take breaks in between, included breaks, so it'll be a very leisurely walking tour, but you're okay with walking on cobblestone streets, and climbing, maybe 1 to 2 flights of stairs if needed. If you have any specific questions about the activity level, feel free to ask in the Q&A, and I'd be happy to answer that once we wrap up here talking about the itinerary. So your tour is going to open in Providence, which is the capital of Rhode Island, where we're what I like to say about Providence is it is a big city, but it kind of gives you the feel of a small town when you're here walking through the neighborhoods. And the city has really undergone a dramatic transformation over the past 50 years, has a really thriving art community, very vibrant, diverse neighborhoods, fantastic hotels, and wonderful culinary scene as well, with many, many things to do. So upon arrival, we'll get you checked in to your Aloft Providence Hotel, where you'll be staying for your first 3 nights, which is, once you get in, it's going to be great because it is surrounded by cafes, many shops, dining options, as well as beautiful views of both the city and the riverfront. Also has a rooftop bar for you, so you can sit back and relax and get settled in to kick off this wonderful trip. And our touring is going to start the next day. So depending on what time you get in the day before, as I said, your hotel is surrounded by many, many different things to do. So you're not going to have to worry about getting transportation. If you want to, go check out some of the restaurant scenes in some of the neighborhoods that surround there. But depending on flight time, the day will be yours to explore and do as you please. And then our touring is going to kick off the next morning, where we're going to enjoy a panoramic city tour with your wonderful tour manager on the motor coach, where we're going to take you to see all of the highlights here, kind of give you a lay of the land. You'll get to kind of see Brown University campus. We'll go over to Water Place Park, and then you are going to have the afternoon to choose how you would like to spend the rest of your day. So when you travel with Colette, something we offer is we call Choice on Tour. This is no extra cost out of your pocket to do one thing or the other. We just know everybody's different, so we want to provide choices of how you'd like to spend your day. So you can either choose to learn all about as I said, this is a thriving art scene here. So you can choose to learn all about the art and architecture scene on a walking tour through the city. Or you can choose to go over to the RISD Museum, the Rhode Island School of Design. Not only does it train some of the best artists in the world, but you can see over 2,000 pieces of art and design from Picasso, Monet, Warhol, and many, many more. And then that night will be the time where we are going to gather for a dinner with your fellow travelers, so you can get to know everybody that you're traveling with, get to have that camaraderie with all of your fellow members, that you can enjoy some wonderful food this evening before we head back, get you settled into the hotel, and then we will kick off the next day with breakfast before we head to Newport, this port city where you will see some of the most spectacular summer homes to a lot of America's wealthiest industrialists. As you are on your way, you're gonna have beautiful views looking at the calm water and really see why this city has earned the moniker of sailing capital of the world and home to America's cup sailing competition for more than 50 years. So as I mentioned, Newport's mansions are really kind of remnants of the lavish lifestyles of the wealthiest industrialists from the 19th and early 20th centuries. But all the famous homes, the Breaker's Mansion is the cream of the summer cottage crop. So we're going to kind of step back in time here, get a taste of the Gilded Age as we take a guided tour through the Breaker's Mansion and see this 70-room stunner that was once a summer getaway of the Vanderbilt family. And then you'll have the afternoon on your own before next morning. We will have breakfast, and then we are going to board a boat to venture to the home of the first permanent colonial settlement in the country, known as Plymouth. We are going to board the boat here at the Plymouth Harbor. And on this boat, we've got an exciting adventure for you where your captain is going to share the importance of lobstering to the New England culture. And you'll actually get to see a upfront demonstration on how lobsters are pulled from the water, see how the lobsters are trapped and retrieved from the ocean, and why it's considered such a delicacy up here. And then you will have the evening to explore. But after we return to the land, we are going to make a very, very special stop in the town of Plymouth to see where the Pilgrims disembarked the Mayflower back in the 1600s. This rock is surrounded by gates in order to preserve it, but it does offer wonderful, beautiful waterfront background as well. So great place to take some pictures. And we'll have that local expert there for you to tell you about all of the history here and all of the culture that surrounds Plymouth Rock. And then this evening, we are going to arrive at your beachfront hotel for a 4-night stay in Cape Cod, which is just steps away from the beach and offers many different amenities where you can really just sit back and relax, enjoy the beautiful sunset over the water. They've got a couple of fire pits, one in front and the back, as well as outdoor bars. So really kind of spend the evening however you'd like. And then the next morning, we're going to catch a glimpse of the Camelot era in Hyannisport, which is the home of the Kennedy compound. So we will we will stop and take a peek at that and get to visit the memorial, as well as visit the beautiful grounds that surround all of the gardens and beautiful flowers that they have here. Next, we're going to set off on a ferry to explore the island of Nantucket, where you'll get to walk on those cobblestone streets we talked about, see the beautiful beaches and lighthouses. And this place really, really does live up to the reputation of why many people come here and spend their summer and fall here and vacation here. Where you'll get to kind of go over to the waterfront, see all the sailboats and yachts in the harbor, or do some shopping as well, visit some of the cafes. And then we are going to enjoy dinner at a popular local restaurant, dive into that New England cuisine here. And next morning after breakfast, you are going to have the day to do however you would choose your own adventure on. You can either choose to take advantage of all of the amenities at your waterfront hotel, maybe just sit by the pool or the private beach. Or if you want to get out and go do some exploring as well, you can go to Chatham tour with your tour manager, where we visit Sandwich, which you will get to visit the Heritage Museum and Gardens, which has over 100 acres of beautiful, beautiful flowers, followed by a visit to the Sandwich Glass Museum, where you will get a glimpse into the delicate art form of glass blowing. And then next day, we are going to take another ferry, where we are going to transport you to your next island adventure of beautiful Martha's Vineyard, where you can see all the picturesque bluffs and the quaint little villages and cute towns and summer homes here, which, as I'm sure you've heard, is Martha Vineyard is known for its visits by presidents and royalty, summer home of many artists and celebrities. So this place is really, really full of surprises, but also filled with lots of rich history, quaint gazebos, and iconic lighthouses that you can visit as well. But we'll take you to see all the highlights of the vineyard, as the locals call it, including all of the quaint little gingerbread styled cottages, which this town was once a famous whaling port. And so you'll get to see all of the sea captains' homes and the Widow's Walk here. And then we are going to take a ferry back to the island we'll go back to Cape Cod, where we are going to have a very, very special farewell dinner this evening, where we are going to give you the full traditional New England experience as you indulge in a lobster feast this evening with your fellow travelers. Which is a great time to, I always like to say, you know, just sitting next to everybody that you met at the beginning of the trip that you may not have known before, joining together and just talking about the wonderful trip and all the things that you got to see and do. I always like to say, you know, somebody may have been sitting on one side of the motor coach and you may have been sitting on the other. So may have had a different experience, different pictures, but really the most important is coming home with all of the wonderful memories of coastal New England. So this 8-day trip is very reasonably priced. We have everything that we included for you in that itinerary, including that choice on tour. We've got 10 meals for you, breakfast every day, and 3 dinners included for you at the double occupancy rate of $36.49 and single occupancy of $45.49. And we do have the option, if you choose to purchase your airfare with us as well, you can contact Lisa to get the rate from where you are flying in from. But if you do purchase your air with us, we do offer that sedan service as well. We did also send Lisa over a multitude of gateways today that has our pricing as well for airfare. So just let her know if that's something that you would like to do, because we do have that sedan service if you are within a 50-mile radius. And if you are a little bit more, between 51 and 75 miles, we can include that for you for a small fee with your airfare as well. So I'd like to say thank you so much again for having me, and pass this over to Jon and Phyllis, because I know Phyllis has some really great experiences she wants to share with you as well about her experiences here.
Thanks so much, Gina. This is an overview, and I hope that those that are attending the webinar are seeing that this could be a very luxurious, very comfortable travel. I personally can tell you, as a Colette traveler myself, it was so amazing to be able to zip up your suitcase, open your hotel room door, set it right outside the door, close the door, and not worry about it. I mean, you're at great hotels. It's very safe. They come and take it. They put it in the bottom underbelly of the bus. And when you get to your next destination, once you're checked in and heading upstairs, there's your bag just waiting right outside your door. You pull it in and you're done. And it seems like a very small thing, but I'm telling you, you feel totally spoiled. So that's a great thing. And I love that the airfare is included, as well as the private chauffeur transportation. So the price point we know is a little bit higher. Certainly, we did a women veterans cruise earlier this year in the Caribbean. And so, of course, that was significantly less expensive, did not include airfare or any of these kind of additional pieces. And Gina, if I'm correct, there also is an opportunity, if we wanted to stay a couple of extra nights for heading out of Boston, once you get us up there, can we add on, or is it on us to book it ourselves?
Yes, no, if that's something that you would like to add on, even a pre-night, we can accommodate that for you, or post-night in Boston. We can make sure all of your transfers back to Boston are arranged, as well as your hotels, and provide you with countless suggestions of things to do. We really give you the option to kind of personalize your adventure. So even if you want to upgrade your airfare, we can provide, we'll provide those options over to Jon and Lisa to make sure. So if that's something that you're interested in as well, just let us know, either pre-nights, post-nights, extensions, anything like that we can help you with.
That's fantastic. Thank you. So we're just hopeful that, as we explore whether or not this is something the Military Women's Memorial, as we try to honor and tell the stories of America's servicewomen all the way back to the Revolutionary War, well, where better to begin than perhaps in New England? And we think that this is a great way for us to partner with some great travel agents. I met some of the women on the tour earlier this year, and a number of them had not traveled in years. And they said the reason why was they were getting older. They didn't have friends that were travelers anymore. And so they had stopped traveling, much as they loved doing that. But once they saw that they could come in with their peers, their friends, their fellow women veterans, and the families of those veterans, they said, we're in, and we're hopeful that we can continue to do that. What we haven't done yet, Jon, and maybe you can talk a little bit about this, is our future. For any of you that have looked, not only do we have this, Islands of New England next year, we're already planning and hoping very soon to go live, where you can start booking a 2026 trip, Jon.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want me to talk about 2026, I can. And so in 2026, we're looking at June of doing Paris and Normandy. And basically it's Paris to Normandy. So it is a river cruise where we start in Paris, we sail down to the Seine, to Rennes, and then for when we take a bus and we're actually on the Normandy beaches. And I know Phyllis has a lot of great ideas of special events that she wants to add as we go down to the river. In just a minute, when we kind of get done with the questions, I may pull up the website real quick because there's a couple of things I wanted to touch on that. But before I did that, Gina, can you go? Phyllis, are you done? Did you want me to?
Yes.
Okay. If you could go back a couple of slides to the pricing slide, because I want to make sure everybody understands, because somebody asked a question about this. So, oh, sure. Anyway, so the prices that are listed include airfare. Okay, so this would include round trip airfare. And if you go to the next slide, it basically kind of says that the airfare at that price is from either Washington or Chicago. We have 4 gateways listed already on the website, which are Atlanta, Dallas, LA, and Philly, which are an additional $50. As Gina alluded to, we've had 7 people already fill out that book now form, and so they're flying from other gateways. So as we go to Colette, for example, somebody today asked about air from Bloomington, where we'll start adding more and more of these, and you'll kind of get a better feel. But the person who asked the question asked, could they do air on their own, and would there be a discount? Yes, if you did air on your own, we would reduce the price of the airfare from the tour. Now, one thing to keep in mind is there's not only air included in the price, but transfers. If you don't use Colette's air, you don't automatically have transfers included. You can get a cab, you can Uber, you can do whatever you want. If you want Colette's transfers, they're $75 each way. So it's $150 for the transfer plus the cost of the air. So if you do your own air, there will be a price reduction, but then you need to decide what you want to do about transfers. Do you want to purchase Colette transfers, or do you want to do transfers on your own? And then that door-to-door service where they actually have a sedan pick you up at your home and take you to the airport, and then when you return, pick you up at the airport and take you back to your house would not be included, and it's not available for purchase. And I wanted to talk about it. If you look at the section that we have on the website about the sedan, it basically says within 50 miles of the airport, it is complimentary with air purchased through Colette, and it can be purchased for a small additional fee if you're from 50 to 75 miles. We did have somebody else contact us who wanted to book, who's actually, if I remember correctly, 56 miles away from the airport. To give you an idea, their cost for the transfers was $30 per person. So it is not a significant amount of money to have a private transfer. You obviously couldn't Uber or get a cab 56 miles for anything near $30. So it is a great value. But yeah, if you didn't want to go with Colette Air, we could pull that out. You could give us a call, or if you go back to that final screen, you can either drop us an email or give us a call and just ask Lisa to give you a quote without the air, and she can pull that out of there. And then just keep in mind, we don't want you to show up in Providence and have no way to get to the hotel. If you don't do Colette Air, you either need to purchase transfers or you're on your own. So hopefully that answered that question. That looks like it might be the only question we've received so far.
Jon, does that also apply at the end of the trip? Then all of the rest of us that have purchased their airfare through, or it's part of our package, that means to get from where we finish the tour to the airport in Boston, they would also have to pay for that transfer?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure everybody completely understands when he talks about transfers. Once you land in Providence, or once you're done with the trip, and now they're going to drive the bus up to the airport, there would be additional fees for those that don't use the airfare. What about for people that live not far from, that like live near Providence, Rhode Island, and they're just going to drive and park
Then
their
they
car?
would probably just drive themselves to the hotel, or get a friend to drive them, or Uber or cab, whatever. And then we can do one-way air at the end. We can do airfare from Boston back to Providence.
Okay.
And if they do the one-way air, that will include the transfer at the end, or they're more than they can do it on their own, which just comes back to the thing where you're talking about. If you want to purchase it without air, we'll take the air out of it, knowing then once again that you can, let's just take your scenario. I live in Providence, so I drive to the hotel, or I have friends drop me off at the hotel. And then at the end of the tour, I actually buy the transfer to get to Boston to fly home, or I'm on my own to get to Boston to fly home, or whatever airport you want. I mean, Boston's obviously just the closest major airport. There might be small airports that I'm not familiar with. They can get you back to Providence, the little puddle jumpers.
Currently, what we're planning is one bus, which, well, it's a 55 passenger bus. We're not going to
44.
pack everybody in there. It will be 40 people max.
Yeah.
But if we do get enough of a groundswell, because of course this isn't until a year from now, one of the things that we may end up doing potentially is a second bus that could go. But at this point, what we're planning on is we just want to get to that 40 people. So any of you that are on this call, you're early birds. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And we really do encourage you to go ahead and do that book now form. They'll reach out and communicate with you. Need more time to think about it, let them know. They're not super pushy, but they are there to help book this so that we know that it's a go. And whether or not this is something the Military Women's Memorial continues to do and grow. Right now, we're planning one next year, one for 2026. If it looks like there's enough of an interest in it, there's no reason that we couldn't do more than one a year. What we do hope to have along the way is to have some of the leadership from Military Women's Memorial also join along on some of these trips, some of our board members or things like that. We'll just see whether or not they're also interested in joining us as well. But, you know, a lot of folks, they love having the opportunity to sit and talk with, you know, a general, an admiral. The Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Joanne Bass, is now one of our honorary board chairs. Perhaps she'll join us on a future excursion. And I think it's always fun for us in a small group setting to have that opportunity to sit and talk with each other about our experiences in the military, and for our families to maybe sort of listen in on. And many times they learn things as we're talking with our peers that we didn't ever think to share necessarily with our family or friends. So it's a great way for us all to sort of expand that knowledge base, because as we all know, as women veterans, many times people are shocked. You don't look like the kind of person that would have been in the military. I would have never guessed you to be one of those. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean, but we love getting back together and having that opportunity. And that's what the Military Women's Memorial is all about, telling our stories to each other and to America. So we're looking forward to this. Jon, I don't know if you have anything else to add, but I'm really excited for these opportunities. I hope you'll take advantage of it and share it with your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a couple of things I thought of when she was saying that. These kind of exclusive departures that we do, where everyone, you know, the Royal Caribbean, you had a group, but you were on a ship that probably had 2,000 people and you had 86 people. And it's a different experience when we own the bus or we own the ship and everybody on that is a member of Military Women's Memorial. And there's a couple of things that I always point out. They are more fun for two reasons. The first one is the camaraderie, which goes back to what Phyllis was talking about, is this shared background of meeting other people. And our experience are going to be that you're going to meet people on this trip and you're going to travel with them in the future. This, you know, as I like to say, everyone on this tour is going to be friends you just haven't met yet. And then the other thing that we see is the courtesy and the respect that everyone has for everyone else. If you've gone on a cruise before or a land tour, when you're on and off the bus or something like that, you will be able to feel the difference of the courtesy and respect. And I use those words because I think they're the best that I have to describe it, that everyone has for each other that you don't normally get in a public setting. They are the things that we do that are the most popular, that are the highest rated, are always these types of exclusive departures. Now, not to be bearer of bad news, but if this bus sells out, we cannot guarantee there'll be a second bus. In fact, it is probably, Gina, you can jump in here, but probably not likely, because of the fact that it would depend on how quickly we sold it out. But, there's a certain point where all of the tour guides and all of the buses and everything are allocated. And so as we're rapidly approaching 1 year out prior to departure, we may only be able to do one bus. So just to make sure everybody understands that. And as I said, if you have any questions, just give us a call, drop us an email. We're more than happy to help. How many folks attending the presentation today? There are 14 people on the presentation today. 68 people registered for the presentation. So when we send the email this evening, we'll send it to everyone who registered. So 68 people will receive a copy of this webinar. And then we had 7 people already fill out a book now form. A couple of those were singles, which I'm going to talk about real quick, because singles, I know, are solo travelers, are an important part of what we're talking about doing. So that's about a third of the bus already. If we sit there and say we're looking at 14, 15 people from those 7 bookings. So yeah, I mean, no pressure, but we have every expectation that this is going to sell out. Okay, so singles, I don't know, Gina, if you want to go back to it, to back one slide so you can see the pricing. I do want to mention that when we talk about pricing and we have both a double rate and a single rate, that if you want to avoid that additional, $900 to have your own room at both hotels, just let us know and we will try to pair you with another solo traveler. Obviously, women with women, men with men, and we assume most of the travelers on this is going to be women. And we will, if you're interested in it, let us know. We'll put you down that you're interested in a single share. Which is what we call it when 2 singles share a double room. And then as other people sign up who want to do the single share, we'll put you in communication with each other and you can talk via phone or email or text or whatever you decide, and decide if you want to travel together or not. Just something I want to mention, because sometimes people will look at this and say, I'd really like to avoid paying that extra $900 to have my own hotel room. We've done this before. If you're a solo traveler, it is not a one-time situation where you're traveling as a solo. Probably every time you look to go on vacation, the travel industry always seems to have single supplements for solo travelers. We have incidences where we've paired people up on one of these quote unquote signature groups. And then those people will continue to travel together down the future. Because as I said, if you're a solo traveler, you're always going to be looking to hopefully avoid that single supplement. So anything you want to add on that, Gina?
No, that pretty much wraps it up. I did just answer one of the
Yeah.
questions for somebody that came in about the dates of the trip, joining late. As Jon mentioned, I'm not sure if you heard this or not, but this is recorded as well. So if you feel like you missed anything on that, you will have the opportunity to rewatch it and share it as well.
Yeah, and then just real quick, I am going to share my screen. Give me just a second. Somebody want to talk while I do this? Gina, tell us a story.
Well, thank you, everybody. And we're really excited to start off this partnership with you and give you guys the opportunity to have this camaraderie. And hopefully, as Phyllis mentioned, that you feel like you don't have anybody to travel with, and that's why you haven't traveled. Well, this is a great opportunity to have that camaraderie and make new friends to travel with. So.
Yeah, and it's also the safety, the security, of going with a group, that, there's people there to ensure that everything goes smoothly, to help you if you have any issues. Gina talked about the free time. Having done Colette tours before, there is a tour guide who will be with you for the entirety of the tour. So, if you have a morning, in the morning you do, let's say the urban walk, and in the afternoon, they are a great resource to go to say, we're looking for this kind of food for dinner, or, what's within walking distance for the hotel or something like that. It's literally like your own private hotel concierge is with you all the time, who's there to answer any questions and assist any way that they can. Oh, looks like we got another question. Yes, it's not, somebody asked if they could bring their spouse. Yes, it's not a woman's only trip. So as I said, you can bring friends and family. So absolutely, if you want to bring your spouse, absolutely bring him. We'd love to have him come. As I said, I think of the 7 booking requests we got, 5 were for double rooms. So we have 5 members who are bringing a spouse, and then we have 2 people who are going as a single. So we have kind of a mix. We kind of assume that's going to kind of be going forward. So we'll probably end up with like 15, 16 couples and, with say 8-ish, 10-ish singles. So anyway, before we went, I was just going to show you the website. We showed a screenshot of this. So this is the website. A lot of this you're going to have already seen. So we talked about this. This is the pricing. It shows the error. As we get, this will be updated probably by the time you get a link to this, because we have, I think, another 4 gateways that we'll put in what the price is. We talked about the day-to-day itinerary. I know Gina went through this. A lot of people like to see this in writing. So we do have a day-by-day description. And you can see, when we talk about what the tours are that day, it's all in a printed format as well. We have a page that's the highlights, terms and conditions. I think that kind of is self-explanatory. That's going to be a page where it has all the kind of dates and everything else. Here's the form we talked about to fill out when you're ready to book. Just your name. If you're bringing a guest, you put their name down there, and then just your contact information. It's a lot easier if we get it in an email rather than, asking you over the phone. And then the final thing is, Phyllis talked about this, is the other groups. So you can see we have the islands of New England here, and then Paris and Normandy, June 14th through the 21st. That should be up by Monday. The space has been held. We have the pricing, everything set. It's just finalizing the website for this. So once again, by Monday, you should be able to see all the information on this. And we'll do a webinar on this one as well down the road. Obviously, right now we're kind of focusing on the islands of New England. But when this fills up in the next month or 2, we will then shift our focus to Paris and Normandy for 2026. Somebody asked about bringing a friend who is not a veteran. Yeah, to make this clear, if you're part of Military Women's Memorial, you can bring anyone you want. You can bring kids, you can bring grandkids, neighbors, friends, whatever. They do not need to be in the military. You're not limited to 1 cabin. So we do these types of exclusive groups all the time. We always have somebody who brings friends along. We want you to have as much fun as possible. So if you look at this and go, man, this is going to be great. I look forward to meeting all of my fellow military Memorial Women members. But it would be great if my neighbors could go, or my friend, as this person asks, or my spouse or whatever. Absolutely bring them along. This is your vacation. We want you to have as much fun as possible. So when we say it's exclusive, it's only being offered to members of Military Women's Memorial and their guests. So if you're a member, you can bring whomever you'd like. And then we've got one final question. I belong to North Carolina Women Veterans Coffee and Conversation Group. Is there a way that I can share the recording with them? Yeah, Marianne, I'm going to send you this evening. You're going to get an email. It will include a link to this website, and it will include a link. There's going to be a Military Women's Memorial YouTube page, and we'll upload this to YouTube. And so in that email that we're going to send, the follow-up email, you will have a link for you or for anyone you share that email with, that they can watch this webinar. All we have to do is we have to download it, we have to edit it, and then we upload it. So that does take a couple of hours. But as soon as that's done, we'll send everybody an email with a copy of this. And it would be great, Marianne, if you shared it with that group. Okay, that's the end of the questions. It's 2:50. We scheduled these for an hour, so we got a couple more minutes. No reason not to end early. So if Phyllis, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
You're muted, Phyllis.
I don't see that I'm
not. You're not.
Now we can hear you.
Okay, because I'm like, okay. So what I wanted to share is for the trip in 2026, the river cruise, it goes from Paris to Normandy and back to Paris. And it's a ship, one of those lovely, river cruise boats that's just going to be stunning. But it holds approximately 120 passengers, 60 cabins. And our goal is to, as Jon was saying earlier, it's just so much, in my mind, more fun if we can sell out the entire ship so that it's all the Military Women's Memorial members, friends, family that are on that ship, because it's a smallish group. Think 120 people. So when we're spending time getting ready to go to dinner and we're in the big parlor area, we can sit and talk in smaller groups. Or if we have an update about, like when we go to Rouen, France, which is where Joan of Arc was burned at the stake, but also we have some amazing military women that we have video of them marching down those streets in the 1940s. So we want to make sure we understand our own history, our stories, as well as when we get to Normandy Cemetery, there are only 4 American women buried at Normandy. And we want to take the time to especially call out their names and to visit their grave markers if that's something you care to do. But we're going to build some of these just like over 100 years ago in Paris, when General Pershing was leading World War I, the Hello Girls were there serving at Pershing's headquarters. So we want to make sure, it's part of that storyline, but you're going to have a lot of fun just enjoying a river cruise in France. And again, 120 passengers should be completely doable with 2 years of notice for that. So we're looking forward to testing the waters, if you will, on the islands of New England, and then in the rivers of France in 2026, and we'll see what happens from there. But if any of you have ideas and recommendations for us on where to look for our next escape together, let me know. Most of you I see who's on this call, most of you I know who you are. Let me know what we can do, or post it on our social media platforms where you saw about how to register for this webinar. Put a comment in there and say, how about this place? And we'll start exploring it with Jon and see where that takes us next. So I appreciate you taking the time, and hopefully you'll share this like Marianne will. Hi, Marianne in North Carolina. Tell Scott I said hello, and we hope that you'll all be making the plans to spend some time with us as we travel across the globe together in the coming years. Thanks.
Yeah, somebody asked about the dates for the June cruise. We'll include that in the email, so you'll have that as well. I want to echo what Phyllis said. Thanks everybody for taking time out of your schedule today to give us a call, or excuse me, to join us on the webinar. Please give us a call or drop us an email if there's anything that we can do to assist you. Sorry. And I'm going to turn it over to Gina for the final words. Took a lot of time out of her busy schedule to be with us today. So Gina, take us away.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. We're really excited for this upcoming departure, and we know that Lisa and Jon will be able to take care of you all every step of the way to make sure you have everything you need. So feel free to give them a call. And like we said, we've got a lot of people interested in this trip, as well as some already signed up. So we possibly won't be able to get a second bus. So if you're interested, go ahead and sign up and join on this trip so you don't miss out on this opportunity.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you again soon, and have a wonderful remainder of your day.
Thank you.